fuck? Well, let's get to the movie review of the week. So this movie I didn't see when it originally came out. I remember it being at the Dollar Movies where I used to work at, and I would watch like the little clips when I would go in and out of the theater, but it wasn't really my cup of tea back then. I didn't really appreciate that type of humor. What was I watching? I mean, I really liked in that one. I was like, because I really liked Something About Mary. What other comedy movies that I like? I don't know. For some reason, but when I rewatched it in 2023 or 2022, I'm not sure, the end of 2020, Hot Rod, that came out in 2007, it really resonated with me, and I respected it a lot more. And I watched it after or before or near when I watched the Palm Springs movie with Andy Samberg. Alright, so Hot Rod, 2007 American comedy film, directed by Akiva Schaffer in his directorial debut, and written by Pam Brady. The film stars Andy Samberg as amateur stuntman Rod Kimball, whose stepfather, Frank Ian McShane, continuously mocks and disrespects him. When Frank becomes ill, Rod raises money for his heart operation, executing his largest stunt yet. The film also stars Jorma Taccone, Sissy Spacek, Will Arnett, Danny McBride, Isla Fisher, and Bill Hader. The film was initially drafted by Pam Brady, who retained full writing credit, as a vehicle for Saturday Night Live star Will Ferrell, but the project never commenced. Lorne Michaels convinced Paramount to let The Lonely Island, which was gaining fame for its work on SNL, take over the film. Lonely Island was the group which had Andy Samberg as the main leader, I guess. It was like him and two other dudes. I didn't know they were on SNL as well. The group subsequently rewrote the movie with a heavy emphasis on offbeat, surreal humor. It was shot in Vancouver in the summer of '06. The score is former Yes guitarist Trevor Rabin, and the soundtrack features several songs by the Swedish rock band Europe. A Swedish rock band called Europe. I guess that's like a Texas band called America. Paramount Pictures released Hot Rod on August 3rd, 2007, so I had just graduated. It was a box office failure, grossing only $14 million on a $25 million budget. As its producers predicted, it received mixed reviews, with critics criticizing the film's script and humor. It has become a popular cult film on home video. Let's see. So he was a former writer for South Park, the writer of the movie. In the meantime, Lonely Island was hired at SNL in '05, and by the end of the year, it had a breakthrough with its short, Lazy Sunday. The sketch, an SNL digital short, received millions of views online, especially on the then-fledgling YouTube, making the trio, especially Samberg, stars. Lorne Michaels, SNL's creator, convinced Paramount to allow the troupe to direct and star in the film. They had no prior experience with feature-length films, but Michaels had confidence envisioning the film as a different generation's comedy. The studio wanted the film to remain less coarse to obtain a PG-13 rating from the MPAA, like Dodgeball, a true underdog story. Dodgeball was a good movie. That was another Ben Stiller movie. A Stiller movie. Initially reluctant, as the script was designed for Will Ferrell, and the summer filming schedule was less than ideal, Paramount authorized a rewrite. allowing the writers to incorporate bizarre, offbeat humor and absurdist comedy. Script had to match their standards. Another way of saying, just dumb it down, said Schaefer. This involved deleting comedy design for Farrell, which Sandberg called so well written, and replacing it with their own. We didn't want it to seem like I was doing a Farrell impression, said Sandberg. The result was a balance between weird humor and what Paramount considered accessible. Sandberg was inspired by Wet Hot American Summer, which was, according to him, designed to fuck around with what's expected from a movie. I should probably watch that. Wet Hot American Summer. Many jokes from the film deemed too weird were cut, including a scene in which Rod jokingly asked his young brother Kevin to pull out his genitalia. Sandberg aimed for a performance that was bad, but you know it's bad. There's a lot said about how this is the nerdy generation and it's internet driven. The comedy that's influenced me has always been that. From the Three Stooges through Steve Martin and The Jerk and Ace Ventura and Chris Farley and Billy Madison, they were village idiots. That's definitely the tradition we're trying to follow. It was largely filmed in Vancouver in the summer of '06. Shooting locations included Cloverdale, British Columbia, and under the Surrey end of the Pattullo Bridge southeast of Vancouver. Other locations in British Columbia including Coquitlam, North Vancouver, Burnaby, and downtown Vancouver. Sandberg had a stunt double, but did many of his own stunts, as was allowed. The MPAA objected to the word semen in a scene which Chris Parnell reveals a profane tattoo on his stomach. It was changed to residue. Another scene, that sounds so much worse. Another scene that barely made it into the film involved Sandberg and Tacone repeating the phrase "cool beans" until it evolves into a bizarre pseudo-rap. Schaefer initially cut the scene, but Sandberg and Tacone edited themselves. Schaefer reinserted the scene in the film's last test screening, where it received high marks from audiences as one of their favorite bits. It is cool because they just start rapping it over. It's a hilarious movie. The film's original poster featured a silhouetted Sandberg atop a hill beside his motorbike in a martial arts pose. Paramount changed the poster to a large close-up of Sandberg's face. Paramount fucked it up. Reception. Before its release, The Lonely Island promoted the film with interstitials during Comedy Central movie marathons. In the promos, the trio attempted to convince viewers that Hot Rod is a story of a sex offender. He does stunts to raise money to sex offend, and spoof the quality of films run during the daytime marathons. Stay tuned for Teen Wolf 2. The premiere was at the John Ford Amphitheater in Los Angeles. Oh, I missed all that. To be fair, in high school, I was not watching a lot of TV in '07. Sandberg predicted the film would not do well, telling Entertainment Weekly, it will get bad reviews. Comedy is traditionally not reviewed that well. That's correct. He added that if future generations viewed Hot Rod with a similar reverence to films such as Billy Madison, he would consider it a success. The punch dance term the film introduced was a reference to Footloose punch dance. That was hilarious, his punch dancing. Alright, I'm gonna blow my nose. We're gonna do Badass Woman in Hearts 3. Wrap this baby up, put a little bow on it. You know what I'm saying? Put a little bow on it. Put a little wrapping paper on it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about?